So do a short one. Today is September 15th. I was just watching a video by Dane Wigington at geoengineeringwatch.org, and this particular video was just about the manipulation of the hurricanes, but it brings me, just made me think of a couple other things. If there's anybody, obviously, who watches this who doesn't think there's massive military and government weather manipulation programs, just go to geoengineeringwatch.org, and he pulls, over the years he's pulled all the United Nations documents, all the government documents, research and programs that have been declassified, university documents of different studies. So the proof is wide and varied, and it's all over the place, especially with chemtrails. I don't know how anybody doesn't understand what chemtrails are, that they exist, but that's another point. So yeah, overall, he's painting a pretty significantly dark picture, and I don't completely disagree with him. I hope his timelines are pretty far off for everybody's sake. But he brings in a point of what, he doesn't bring this up, but I'm thinking, what are you going to do as an individual other than write letters, write emails, sign petitions, bitch about it? When it comes to, extinction level events, in regards to the food cycles in our biosphere, and you see all the aluminum that is drying out the trees in the West, especially up in Alaska and Canada. It's kind of one of those situations where if all that stuff that is fairly well documented is true, it's the ultimate satanic, power play to just destroy food cycles, destroy, the agricultural base for, the ever-growing population, destroying soils, having many species go extinct, so that, they need to come save the world's food supply with their genetically modified crap and their disgusting feedlots and cattle lots and everything else that they put out there, their herbicides or their fertilizers. And if you don't take this science lab junk, then you can't survive, because we've destroyed so much of the natural ecology that you can't grow the things you used to be able to grow. So I kind of go, what do you do other than just trying to create as much organic soil on your property that helps break those toxins down and get rid of them, and growing your own food to protect yourself. We kind of all breathe the same air, even though I'm pretty happy that we've never had that many chemtrails in North Idaho. There's just not a lot of people up here, and it's not a weather originating area like over in the Puget Sound. Puget Sound gets hammered with them, apparently less so now than they have in the past, but in the past they've just, you could see the jets going back and forth and crisscrossing and creating those weather modification blankets, essentially. So it's pretty bad over there, and obviously that's, you get the ocean current and wind currents coming in over the Olympic Mountains, and we get that jet stream, so we still get some of that. It's not knocked down by the Cascades. But yeah, it's kind of a frustrating event. As anybody who's concerned about the future or societal collapse, or breakdowns in the food supply, or just the supply chain in general, we all like to think that the bad guy is going to be somebody who is coming down the driveway with his buddies, and we can see it. We know what the threat is, and we can deal with it. But if the threat is almost like a ghost, which is kind of what the threat is when you're talking about geoengineering, we know what the problems are. We know essentially in who's behind it in terms of large-scale organizations, and they always mask it behind, some humanitarian effort. But it's pretty obvious that it's not, for the most part, it's not for our benefit. And there's also, we're apparently getting different spectrum of sunlight. The sun's going through certain cycles, so then they make the claim that they're putting all these heavy metals into the atmosphere to reflect these new rays coming from the sun that are, you know, cancer-causing rays, and very hot rays. Even when the temperature might read the same, these particular rays on the surface, when they shine on something, create a lot more heat. I don't know how much of that is true and how much of it isn't, but they've certainly brought up the fact that that's one of the reasons that they're pumping aluminum and other metals into the atmosphere. So they do admit, I mean, they admit that they're putting different kinds of aerosols and heavy metals. There's a bunch of crap in there. There's a couple websites, they might even have it on Geoengineering Watch, that has the makeup of many of these aerosols that are shot out of the back of the planes. So it certainly wreaks havoc on the respiratory system of everybody, but especially infants and older individuals. Not to mention, you know, with aluminum, it's, you know, a leading cause of Alzheimer's and things like that. So, you know, trying to detox, I guess, as best you can is important. You handle these things on an individual basis, trying to educate people that you know. And we should all, because, you know, essentially, you know, that's whether it's from the food you eat, whether it's from, you know, the things you're breathing in, you know, toxic overload essentially is what kills everybody, you know, other than the really healthy person who lives to be 95 and, you know, one of their organs just says, I'm tired and I'm done. Other than that, though, you know, your cancer formations and your Alzheimer's and neurological disorders, autoimmune deficiencies, those all are basically stemmed from toxicity overload. And so you just kind of got to stay up on your detox protocols. There's a lot of amazing vegetables and fruits, different kinds of berries and things that are great at detoxifying. So there's things you could take for your skin, because skin being your largest organ, you know, I guess the easiest thing to do is stop putting so much damn makeup on and tanning lotions and, you know, all these topical creams that are filled with garbage. You know, is the biggest step you could do, because your skin is the largest organ on your body and it absorbs that stuff straight into the bloodstream. So you certainly, and that goes with things, you know, like the detergents you wash your clothes with, deodorants you put on, all that kind of stuff take into consideration. So that's probably the easiest switch to make. Honestly, commercial chemical deodorants don't work nearly as well as the ones that I use, which are just basically extracts, and they work way better. I mean, I can go, my wife is just like, you know, no matter what I do, generally, if I'm putting that stuff on once a day, I'm not stinking at all. So they work better, and they don't have aluminum and all those other peroxides and deodorizers and things in them that most of your, like, Degree and Dove and all those brands have. So yeah, I'd start there. Just you know, watch what you put on your body first and foremost, and that goes with cleaners. So, you know, things that clean your dishes, things that clean your clothes, fabrics that you know, if you buy a bunch of clothes that come you know, straight from China, which a lot of them do, I won't say most of them, but you know, they're generally heavily they're heavily layered in toxic colors, and so you want to get those agents rinsed in a really good organic, all-natural cleaner that's from extracts of natural products. And especially before you put them on, like, your newborn baby and things like that, you just want to protect that skin. Diapers are pretty terrible, loaded with chlorine and antifreeze, I think, in wipes. This is one of the same components that's in antifreeze as in baby wipes. So yeah, I guess start there, and we'll talk more about this at another time. But I'm at home. We're gonna do a short one today. I'm getting tired. Just left work. So that's it for today, guys. I guess take care of your own first and foremost before we try to do something that changes the world, because we got to find a way to do that first. Thanks, guys. Bye.